everyone, Rabbitearsblog here, and today I'm going to do my first question and answer video session. I actually wanted to do this video using the webcam, but since the webcam I have on my laptop kind of has bad quality and I don't have a new webcam, I'm going to do this video like I normally do, just recording my voice and using still pics. Alright, so here goes the question and answer session. The first question comes from Hayden Claire Heroes, also known as Comic Uno, and she asks, what made you start making videos on YouTube? Well, I actually started going on YouTube around 2007, and while I was on YouTube, I was looking at all these videos and about people doing commentaries and reviews on the stuff they like, and so a little later on, I decided, well, you know, I want to do videos on stuff that I like and review them and do commentaries on them since I love to review absolutely anything, especially books. So that's when I started. That's when I started making videos on YouTube, and ever since then, I've just really enjoyed making videos on YouTube, doing reviews on stuff I like, and doing commentaries on channels or books or whatever on stuff that I really like. This question comes from Sleepy Reader 666, and the first question he asks is, what was the first comic you remember reading? Did that comic hook you, or was there a specific comic that hooked you on reading comics? Well, the first comic I actually read was Archie Sonic the Hedgehog, and that was way back in 1995 or 1996, right after Sonic the Hedgehog Saturday AM ended this run. And even though that was the first comic I read, I wasn't really hooked on reading comics at that time, even though I did enjoy the Sonic the Hedgehog comics at that time, especially the Endgame storyline. I didn't really start getting hooked onto comics until I started reading some of the Archie comics, like starring Jughead and Archie Andrews. And after that, I wanted to read some more comics, so I actually started reading some X-Men comics, and I started reading, my first X-Men comic was last year in 2011, and the first X-Men comic I've read was Astonishing X-Men by Joss Whedon, and I got so into that series that I just started reading X-Men comics a lot after that, and then that's when, after I started reading all the X-Men comics, yeah, I started reading comics constantly, every day, like I do now, so that's when I started reading comics a lot after that. The second question that comes from Sleepy Reader 666 is, do you have a favorite comic book writer or a favorite artist? I have over a dozen favorite writers and artists that I've enjoyed reading comic books. Probably some of my favorite writers was Chris Claremont's earlier run on X-Men, Joe Hill's run on Lock and Key, and Joss Whedon. I love Chris Claremont's earlier run on the X-Men, especially the Dark Phoenix Saga and Days of Future Past. And I just love the way that Chris Claremont really developed the characters into the roles we see them now. And like the Dark Phoenix Saga has remained to be one of my most favorite X-Men stories of all time. So I've really enjoyed Chris Claremont's work for doing just that. And for Joe Hill, I really enjoyed his work on the Lock and Key series since he did a great job in developing the Lock kids' loss of their father, and also developing the scary aspects of the stories like the random monsters attacking the Lock keys. And it's just a very different experience for me reading comic books that deal with the scary supernatural stuff, and it was one of the first comics I've read that actually dealt with that. So I've really enjoyed Joe Hill's work for doing that. And then there's Joss Whedon. He's just one fantastic writer, especially his run on Astonishing X-Men, which is the series that really got me into reading the X-Men comics. And I just love the way that Joss Whedon really develops his characters and actually provides a thought-provoking storyline to his comics. And it was those aspects that really got me into his work. And when I started watching his show called Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I was really into that too. So that also got me into reading comics that Joss Whedon had written over the years. And then for my favorite artists, I liked John Cassidy's artwork on Astonishing X-Men, John Bynes' work on the Dark Phoenix Saga and older X-Men comics, and Michael Chow's work on one of the Uncanny X-Men stories I've seen that was called Divided We Stand. And I really love all their artworks. It was just so beautiful, and it's just like they're just so beautiful, and like all the illustrations always look so glowing. They really detailed the characters, and I really love the way they did the facial expressions on the characters. And the third question that comes from Sleepy Reader 666 is, have you ever done your own drawing or writing? Oh yes, I have. I've done a lot of writing and a lot of drawings over the years, and I actually have my accounts is in the description box below if you want to see my fan fictions and my artwork from DeviantArt. And I actually wrote many fan fictions on X-Men and the Angry Beavers, and I'm currently working on a new fanfic called for the X-Men called Red Steel, which is about Colossus becoming a vigilante at the event of Avengers vs. X-Men. So feel free to check out my fan fictions and my artwork. The next person is Daniel Locks 42992, also known as Danny. And the first question he asks is, do you play any video games? If so, what games do you play? Yes, I play a lot of video games over the years, and I actually own like 4 game stations, which are Sega Genesis, Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3. And the games that I always love to play the most are Final Fantasy, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Rogue Galaxy. I've always loved playing the Final Fantasy games and Rogue Galaxy because I love the role-playing games where the characters just switch whatever roles their whatever fighting style they have to do. And my favorite Final Fantasy game was probably Final Fantasy X, that has characters like Tidus and Waka and Lulu, all of them in there. I love the storylines. I love playing each character, and it was just one of my most favorite Final Fantasy games. I also love playing Rogue Galaxy, which was a game that's similar to Final Fantasy. I think it came out in 2007, if I'm not mistaken. And it stars Jax, I think Jaxer, and he's voiced by Will Fidel, and I really enjoy playing that game. The storyline's great. Also another role-playing game where I could play each character. It was just something I really enjoyed. And then I also love playing Sonic the Hedgehog, like especially from the early years when he first came out in the 90s. I love playing all the Sega Genesis games. Some of my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog games from the early years of Sonic the Hedgehog was Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and Sonic 3D Blast. And then recently I played some of the newer Sonic games like Sonic Generations and Sonic Heroes, and I've really enjoyed all those Sonic the Hedgehog games. The second question from Daniel Locks 42992 is, a while back you did a review of The Thief and the Cobbler. Have you seen the Re-Cobbled Cut of the film yet? If not, do you intend on seeing it? Yes, I have done a review on The Thief of the Cobbler, and that was the Miramax version. But I haven't seen the Re-Cobbled version yet because I've been so busy these past few weeks. But I am planning on trying to watch the Re-Cobbled version once I get some time off. Now, when I watch the Re-Cobbled version, I'm not sure. But I'll let you know when I do the Re-Cobbled version of The Thief and the Cobbler and review it. The third question Daniel Locks 42992 asks is, if you could meet any cartoon character, who would it be and why? The cartoon character I really want to meet is Bugs Bunny. I have definitely grown up watching Looney Tunes cartoons all my life, and I was always interested in Bugs Bunny's character, and the way he always acts so loony, is always tricking people, just makes me really want to meet him. If I had a chance to meet him, I would ask him about how he's able to outsmart his foes and whether or not he really enjoys doing his job, and how he feels about being one of the most iconic cartoon characters ever. And the fourth and last question by Daniel Locks 42992 is, do you like green eggs and ham? No, please answer this last question in rhyme. Thanks. Yep, I love green eggs and ham, and here's my little rhyming poem I made up for it. I love green eggs and ham. I enjoy the adventures of Sam I Am. I read this book every single day. I read this book with no delay. I love this book as much as the Cat in the Hat. There's no doubt about that. In every nook and cranny, green eggs and ham is quite uncanny. Well, that's my first question and answering sessions, and I will be sure to do more of these in the future. And if you want to ask me any more questions about myself, please feel free to ask, and I'll see if I can answer all of them the best I can. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you later.